Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. And we are coding, and I am back with ChatGPT. I'm allowed to ask it some questions, and so I did. And I asked, are you familiar with TypeScript rollup files? So in the last video, I was like talking about this thing, a rollup that lets you combine a bunch of interfaces so you don't have to do that. And it said, well, yeah, I am totally, but basically it was another concept. And I'm guessing I'm learning that I learned this concept around the same time I learned of the concept that I was talking about, which has a different name, which I will say in a second. But this is roll up is actually where you take a bunch of files and you combine them into one, so that whenever you're whenever you're loading code in a browser, yeah, it's faster and mostly faster. Uh, Basically, you can do a bunch of things to the code in as part of the process of merging them all together. Like you can, remove any kind of useless white space. You could rename variables so that they're not so human readable. Like we write code so that we can read it, but in making it in ways that will make the file size smaller and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's what a rollup file is, and I guess there is a something called rollup.js or something like that where they focus on that. Um, but this is funny. My Teams is popping up. Um, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. But anyways, I think that I believe Angular uses a different technology called Webpack to accomplish the same thing, and maybe they are the same. Anyways, but so what I was thinking was something called barrel files, and I don't know why, but that word just never seems to want to stick with me in my brain. Um, but anyway, so yeah, so it's where you take a bunch of files and you kind of combine them all so that you can aggregate. I think if they had been called aggregated groupings or something like that, I probably would have been able to remember that a little better. But anyways, so that's what that is. In the last video, um, we sort of started trying to sort of capture all of these different things into a singular place. Um, so we have a renderer, and it has a width and a height, and we have a camera, and it also has a width and height. Now we do know that a renderer contains a camera. So let's try that. So let's say camera. I don't know if it should be capitalized. I think it should be. And then that is of type um, ST camera. So, and it did the import for me. Now this thing is going to be upset down here because it's like, hey, you didn't add a camera. So now let's go ahead and bring in our camera. I guess, should I call it an ST? I guess I should call it an ST camera, not a camera. Yeah, I think that will be better because what'll happen is I know that this isn't a real full ThreeJS camera because it's called ST camera. Um, but so we know that uh, this guy up here needs an ST camera, and that is actually this. And don't get hung up in the fact that like this is clearly not what you want to do. ST camera, like it's not going to be what we're going to do. Maybe what we should do is like this, like move this over here and then move this here and then change this to this. out of this to the front of this. And I don't know what its problem is now. Oh my gosh, I made the same issue the other day. Camera, and it's ST camera. And then it just automatically added this time. And then I don't know what the problem is now. Oh, we need a comma up here. So basically now our renderer has a camera, and our camera knows its width and its height, right? So that's good. And I think that, I've been thinking about this a lot. I just think that I just find that like this is just a lot easier for me to just understand that, okay, it's got a width, a height, and an ST camera. It's just easier for me to understand that than it is for me to kind of picture everything. But then at the same time, once I get down to actual nitty-gritty details, I like them to be less linear. So, and I was actually trying to think of like in human terms how this works in like real life, and it's just like I like to have a map to, like if you're gonna tell me how to get to a restaurant, for example, I want a map. I would like to see it on a map. That's my favorite way to see it. So then I can kind of see, oh, okay, I know this road, I know that, blah, 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 blah. But then when I'm looking at the items, I don't want like a map to the restaurant and the items. I just want the name of the item and all that. So I don't, when I'm looking for fine details, I don't actually want this in a hierarchy. But when I'm not looking for fine details, I do want it in a hierarchy. I don't know why. So there's that. So now the other thing that a renderer has in it, like let's go down to our renderer. When we go to create our renderer, it has a scene, right? So let's see what kind of things a scene has in it. So really nothing at this point, but it does have a mesh. It can have a mesh. It doesn't have to have a mesh, so that's different. And it looks like it can have more than one mesh. And so, but our mesh, okay, so, and then our mesh has a geometry and a material, and so yeah. So I'm just gonna I guess I'm just gonna leave this as is because it's a little bit more complicated. So let's see what else we can do. So we have our render. This is all working. We know, okay, so we have a mesh. Okay, so we know that the renderer has a function on it. So that might be a good thing to calculate. So this animation function is just a function. Let me see if I can use kind of a trick that I like to use to try to figure out how to void. Okay, so this is what it has to have, right? So we're going to say that, let's go ahead and do this. And then, so we're saying that, hey, this animate function has to be one of these. And then over here in our renderer, we're going to have to say an animate. We'll just call it an animation. And that it's one of these that we just got. So basically we're saying that this is a function that doesn't return anything except a number. That's what this means. And then, I don't know. Okay, so this gets a little complicated. See, because I think, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make that optional. I don't know if we're going to want to keep it that way, but we're going to say, I believe you put a question mark right there. Okay, it does not have to be that way. And now what we can say is, right at this point, we can say that our renderer, and this will be interesting to see if this works. This.st renderer dot animation is equal to animate. I don't know what this does with the, it seems like it should be fine. It still should know what a mesh is when the time comes and what a renderer is, but we can change this to this dot renderer. Ooh, you're a pain. Dot, and then I'm sorry, this st renderer. See, I like that because now I know that it's animation. And let's see if that still works. Yeah, it still works. So, okay, so let's, oh, so our camera has a, what is this first thing? A frustrum. And I remember going all through what in the world a frustrum was. I think it's like how narrow or wide it is. So let's just say that our camera has a frustrum. And that is, oops, we need to do this in the, first thing we need to do is go into our interface and specify it there. And I'm going to, while I'm here, let's go ahead and where are you? Where we create the camera, and then we can mouse over this. It's called a viewing frustrum, and they give us a link that apparently we can click on, and it will take us there. So this citation needs additional verification. The region of space in the model world that may appear on the screen. So we'll just put a little comma there. I think that this was one of the real early arguments on whether you could put comments inside of JSON, and you know, they went against it. A lot of people disagreed with that, but it is nice that you can go ahead and put it in TypeScript. So frustrum, let's see. Oh, it's got an R. A frustrum and this is a number, and then we're going to come back here, and now we're broken here. And then that is equal to 70. And this is probably, I would think, something we want to be able to control. So, but like, this is like, it's obvious what this is now, this ST camera. I mean, it's not obvious what a frustrum is, but it is obvious that this is a part of a frustrum. This, you know, like you can, it's easy, it's not just the number 70, which is kind of a pain. Okay, so this right here is the near value, is my understanding, and then this is the far value. Okay, so we're just going to add near and far to our TypeScript. Near number. And I don't think that we really like, while it's not necessarily 100% obvious what near and far is, I don't think it's that hard to figure out. And I definitely think that this is going to be the kind of thing that we will change, that we want to be configurable. And I definitely want to be able to either upload a file or update like a form element to have this stuff. And I just think getting that kind of stuff is going to be so much easier now that we have it in TypeScript. But it definitely, one thing I can guarantee is it won't be in this. It will not be in this app component. All right, so now we know we have, I guess, a position, and then that's an X, Y, and Z. And I think we generally have the concept of a position that applies to lots of stuff, so we probably shouldn't make a position type or interface for that. So we are at 17 minutes. That's a good time to stop. Obviously we are just crawling forward on getting stuff done here, but I do think that it is important to do. Let's see if there's anything fun. Let's see what a 10 frustrum gets us. I think it's kind of important. So basically it looks like it made it really narrow. Let's make 100. And so let's make it, I don't know, 1,000. So it kind of looks like maybe there's some sort of limit. 120. And 180. Let's see if it gets smaller. So 180 didn't work. 170. Oh, look how teeny it is. 160. 150. So yeah, I don't know why we use 70. I guess that would be a great question. What is the default? I guess that's what we should be asking. So it seems like the default is 50. So I think we probably should make this 50. And let's see what it does. Wow. Oh, 570. Wow. So ThreeJS, yes, defaults. That's the camera. Frustrum 250. You know why? Between realism and usability, minimize distortion. Here's a deep. Oh, so I guess with humans, our natural FOV is 50 degrees. Um, make scenes minimizing. Just to view to appear stretched and distorted. So I think it is 50 is probably the best one to do. And then, yeah, I mean, it looks like, I kind of want to, I feel like this was really this is way more useful than the other comment that I have in there. I wonder if I can just do this. I do think that this probably would be something I would like to animate. It's probably like would give the impression of focusing on something, like if you go from narrow to wide or something. Um, and then I guess if it's going to be like, okay, you do not need these. I probably should make that the last one if I want to put like a comment like that on it. Maybe like that. I don't know. So, anyways, yeah. So we're moving forward. It seems like a good amount. We learned a lot. Um, so that, yeah, I don't know exactly how I want to do this kind of thing. This. I have to think about that some more. I definitely want to have a more generic position interface that's for position, and then camera have a position that's got an X, Y, and a Z. Um, and then let's see, scene, and then geometry. So I believe this is going to be like width, height, and depth. Yeah. So definitely will that when we have our geometry and material, and just kind of try to get all of this stuff captured in a um, in TypeScript, and then like kind of decide at that point if what direction I want to go in. There's so many things I need to do. Like I do need a way for it's so much bigger now. I do need a way for the what am I trying to think? I need a way to do an upload, and I definitely want this to be in its own component and be like able to have like 10 of them next to each other or whatever. And then I need a way to be able to click or do, edit these values within that, and then be able to export all of this information. I want to be able to export that this is a camera, that it's got this information, that this is a renderer, and it uses this camera. Like I want that to all be in a big TypeScript, and then I also want to be able to do it in a CSV. And then, I want to be able to export that, and then I want to be able to re-import that. And I'm not sure exactly what the order of those things are. It seems like, just thinking out loud, probably what I want to have is like a button or something that you click and it creates a div. And then within that div, you can do an upload, or you can do an edit. And then once you've selected upload or edit, then you can, then maybe a little form that that you can edit and modify things with, and then you can do a download, and that would be really neat. And it would be neat to see, to update like the end-to-end tests, to be able to do that kind of stuff. And then, but, um, yeah, what do I want to do? It's kind of funny because there's this saying where they say what came first, the chicken and egg, or the egg. And I think in this case, the egg will come first, right? You'll be able to export one of these things, so then I'll have something to work with to do the import. So, um, and then like in this scenario, the import is like the chicken, and the export is like the egg. Um, but anyways, that is that. 25 minutes. It ended up going kind of long. So happy coding, everybody. Bye.